Good morning or good afternoon, and welcome to our channel. Today, I want to discuss what counts as income for Section 8 housing and vouchers and the many different types of federal housing. But before we get started, my name is Jay. I am the owner of Section8Consulting.com, and today I'm going to be presenting this video. Now, I'm going to go ahead and switch screens real quick, guys, so we can take a look, put up a little bit of company information. As you can see from up there, we got a phone number, website, and email. You can reach out to us if you are having a struggle or issues determining what your income is. So for those that may have certain disabilities or learning disabilities, I'm going to bring in notes. You can find these notes as well in the description of the video and comment section after the video is over, okay? So I'm going to start with income that greatly counts or generally counts towards your Section 8 voucher and other housing. Wages, salaries, and hourly pay, overtime, commissions, bonuses, and tips, uh, net income from self-employment, gig work, or business. Now, that's a contentious subject matter there because there's more depth to that than just the basics that I'm putting out. Social Security retirement benefits, SSDI, SSI benefits, so Social Security disability and standard SSI benefits, pensions, annuities, retirement payments, unemployment compensation, workers' compensation, unemployment compensation, severance pay, TAMP, and other cash assistance that you may get through your food stamps or other food assistance, regular child support or alimony received, regular financial contributions from relatives or friends. So those little loans you get from grandma, those count. And interest, dividends, rental income, and other incomes earned from assets, certain trust distributions, and most recurring disability or veterans benefits, unearned income received on behalf of a child. And then let's go on down this list here a little bit further. Income that generally does not count. Wages earned by household members under the age of 18, SNAP or food benefits. So what they mean there is the food benefit itself. So if you're using a card to purchase food, that's not considered income. Foster child or foster adult payments, income earned by an approved living aid, federal student assistance, and certain other educational assistance used for eligible education costs. That doesn't cover everything. I'm just saying that portion of it. Payments for care of foster children or adults, temporary, non-reoccurring, or sporadic income, subject to HUD's rules, of course. So there are limitations. Certain payments received for caring for a household member with a disability, certain reimbursements for medical expenses, certain disaster relief, relocation, and settlement payments, and the value of Section 8 housing assistance itself. Lump sum additions to assets such as inheritance, insurance, settlements, or capital gain, although money later earned from these assets may count. Uh, just to be clear, guys, there are additional rules and exceptions to all of these things that we've mentioned, okay? So what I'm also going to do is import rules for you, both under federal language through HUD and through different programs to help you out. So let's take a look down here. Important details to consider. Section 8 normally considers income from every household member that is 18 and over, the head of a household or spouse, regardless of age, unearned income received on or behalf of children under 18. Eligibility is determined by comparing the household's countable income as with HUD's income limits for the area and household size. What they mean is AMI, or area medium income. Most housing choice voucher applicants must qualify for very low income, generally below the 50% area medium income. PHAs must also issue most vouchers to extreme low income households, generally at or below 30% of the area medium income. Deductions for dependents and qualifying medical expenses, disability related expenses, and childcare often affect adjusted income and rent calculations. They do not necessarily reduce the income used for an initial eligibility in the same way. So there are medical deductions and other deductions that could be counted against the income and not counted. So if you're, like I said, this is a rather contentious subject matter, and of course, rules and policies written under each Public Housing Authority's administrative plan will make those determinations. If you're struggling to determine whether or not you're qualifying there, you might want to reach out to my company or book an appointment, okay? So we're going to put up some official references for HUD's annual income regulation, as you see there in the link, HUD's HOTMA resources, and also HUD income limits there as well. And so we have regulation and limits for HUD. Now, these are broad strokes. You still are going to need income limits specifically from the PHA because, I mean, as many of you know, most housing authorities submit an administrative plan that will call for and indicate changes for income. So it's a complex issue to be certain. But on the broad knowledge of this, what I've discussed already should suffice in many cases, though I do get hundreds of cases every year where people have, they end up getting rent hikes where the rent goes up, and it's because they're determined to have more income, and then we often have to go in as an office and challenge that with the PHA by getting administrative record and then arguing that through informal hearings. So if you're having that type of problem, I would definitely recommend reaching out to my company or another that has a lot of experience in that area that can assist you, okay? So I'm going to take a look at the time, make sure we're not going over in this video, and looks like we're at about 6 minutes, so I got 3 to give. One thing that, you know, we've seen a lot of lately is housing authorities or many of the employees don't last that long. So, the average housing authority employee only stays at their job around 2 to 3 months before they quit. So, what we're seeing is a larger army of people working for housing authorities across America that don't have necessary experience and don't read their own administrative plan and aren't up to date on their policies and procedures. Therefore, they arbitrarily recalculate people's rents much higher, and then of course it creates an additional burden on households, and that's the uptick that I've been seeing lately because there's a lot of pressure on the market, and so people's rents are continue to elevate, and their rent standard continues to go up despite them actually, most of you guys, not they didn't have a right to do so. So we end up having to argue that through first giving several notices, possibly up to 2, and a response time of 10 to 14 days. And then, of course, after that, if it's not resolved, through an informal hearing preparing that case. And again, I recommend reaching out to our office if you're going to go through informal, because there's a lot of preparation required there along with experience, okay? They don't typically perform informal hearings in such a way that most people win, okay? So you need to have a very strong argument. And then after that, if it still can be argued as a matter of record that they're wrong, then this would be moved up to the federal level as a complaint through OIG, HUD, Fair Housing, and even after that could be civil action, depending on how this burden has created a burden for you, affected your quality of life, and whether or not it violated your civil or federal rights, okay, guys? So, with that being said, I believe I've covered the topic contentiously here. You should look for complete notes of this in the comment and description. You can also find the official references for the links through the feds themselves, so you can take a look at the actual information for yourself. Just remember, these are the broad strokes under federal law. You're still going to want your locality through your local housing authority to see what their administrative plan calls for, okay? I've enjoyed talking with you. We hope to see you again, possibly tomorrow. All right, bye for now.